Hi guys, it's Nunu and we're here with our next essay assignment, your definition, critical thinking. How are you going to define critical thinking? Well, let's answer that question and some other questions about this assignment by scrolling down the screen first to the timeline. This assignment has two parts with two different due dates. Part 1 is the essay, posted by 11:59 p.m. on Friday. Part 2 is two peer evaluations, post them by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. So we have part 1, which is here. This is the essay. And part 2 is here at the end of the screen. Part 2 is two peer evaluations, and you have a link here with an example peer evaluation. Okay, let's scroll back up to part 1. And let's look at our assignment purpose first, right above part 1. Our assignment purpose. In this course, our topic is what flaws in the critical thinking process do individuals, groups, politicians, and entire governments make so that tyrants are able to rise to power? Previously, to help us answer this question, we explored how Adolf Hitler, 1889 to 1945, rose to power. This week, we're going to explore what critical thinking is by deciding whether the 1933 Vatican Concordat with Hitler's Third Reich was the result of thinking critically on the part of the Vatican. So in this class, as you know, we are engaging in a real-world scenario, and actually real-world scenarios in all of our essays about critical thinking, so that you can understand it in a very real-world way, not with some cut-and-dried definition of critical thinking. Okay, so let me go back down here to part 1 to the directions, and let's explore how you are going to use this real-world scenario of the Vatican Concordat with Hitler's Third Reich to explain what critical thinking is. Okay, so our directions for part 1. Explain what critical thinking is to a targeted reader group of your choice, students, ordinary citizens, by using the 1933 Vatican Concordat as a vehicle, a way to explain what critical thinking is. Contend that the 1933 Concordat was or was not the result of critical thinking on the part of the Vatican. Once you have supported your thesis, make a point about critical thinking, something you wish to persuade your reader group about in regard to critical thinking. For example, as a real-life scenario of the 1933 Vatican Concordat teaches us, critical thinking requires courage, or one must exercise prudence, caution, when thinking critically. If one doesn't, one may jeopardize one's survival and the survival of others. Now, these aren't the only two persuasive purposes that you would have for this essay. You can come up with whatever your own persuasive purpose is. You are writing an essay with a rhetorical focus, okay? So in this class, remember, particularly for this essay, you are not writing to me or to your peers. Don't refer to anything taking place in this class. You are writing to a targeted reader group that may not be familiar with the 1933 Concordat, Hitler, or his Nazi government. Articulate your ideas clearly and provide any necessary background information for your readers to follow your thoughts. And you can see this helpful video below about how to develop a rhetorical focus for your essay. And a rhetorical focus has a thesis, a targeted reader group, and a persuasive purpose. So click on this video and view it if you're unfamiliar with a rhetorical focus. So you are writing to a reader group using the Vatican Concordat as a vehicle to explain what critical thinking is for a point you want to make, something you want your readers to understand about critical thinking. And I give you two suggestions here, but you may make whatever point you want to. Okay, so to accomplish all of the above, you will need to, 1, research the aims of Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli, future Pope Pius XII, in arranging for and signing the 1933 Concordat, and learn if these aims were accomplished and if there was reasonable hope of their being accomplished. Was Cardinal Pacelli thinking clearly, without bias or preconceptions? Did he or should he have had a very good idea in 1933 of the intentions of Hitler and the Reich regarding the Jewish people and what form of government Hitler and the Reich wished to establish in Germany, particularly in regard to religious organizations like the Church. Did Cardinal Pacelli ask and answer questions in this regard? And ask yourself if there's evidence that he intended to honor the Concordat, and learn if he did. Also, 2, learn what aims Hitler and the Reich had for signing the 1933 Concordat, and if these aims were accomplished, and if there was reasonable hope of their being accomplished. And ask yourself if Hitler and the Reich intended to honor the Concordat, and learn if they did. Okay, requirements for the essay are listed here, as well as 4 credible sources you need to quote. I've given 3 of these sources to you right here. Read these directions very, very carefully. You can also view these helpful sources here. And of course, read the peer evaluations carefully. And remember that you are writing an essay with a rhetorical focus. Okay, I'm scrolling back up the screen to our assignment title, which is, of course, your definition, critical thinking, using the Concordat as a vehicle. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm right here and I'm ready to answer any questions and concerns you have. As always, email me at the very beginning of the week, please, not in the middle of the week or on the day the assignment is due. All right, good luck.